Sounds good.
Merrill Bender, 18th District. Why don't you just take a couple minutes and tell us about yourself, just any background that's relevant to this race and why you're the best candidate, and just basically why you're running.
Okay. My background, I guess, just born and raised in this part of Niagara County. I graduated from Barker in 1977. It's been my home base my entire life, other than 1 year in St. Louis and college in Florida. So, been a strong part of the community. Was on the school board from 1988 to 1997. Served as vice president for many years, then as president in the final year. Also was part of the Niagara School Board Association, served vice president there for 6 years. Lobbying Albany, going on the annual Albany trip to lobby our legislators on education issues. Was a strong advocate for computers and technologies early on in the school, and fought for a lot of good things for the school, I think, and giving the best bang for the buck for the taxpayers as well. So that was something I worked strong on with the entire board there at that time. This past year, it is a year now, since the AES issue came out, I certainly got strongly involved right from the beginning. We formed Tax Reform Niagara, reached out across the entire county, realizing that this AES pilot issue was not just a Somerset or a Barker Central school issue, but affected everybody, as I like to say, from Niagara Falls to Newfane, Lewiston, Lockport, Start Point to Somerset. It's a 3.5% increase in January, just on the county tax rate, let alone the big damage it's doing, 70% increase on the school taxes, etc. When I was on the school board, I was strongly involved in the budget process. I was strongly involved in negotiating on contracts. That kind of experience is the kind of experience I can also bring to the county legislature, asking the extra questions that I don't think these current legislators are asking. I think they're getting their information from the political machine, in my opinion, and not going very deep at all. The other way I've said it on the campaign trail, it's a bit more of a herd mentality, kind of just following along, and that's certainly evident when you watch any county legislative meeting. And those are the kinds of things I think need to change. If you ask a deeper question, do the rest of the economic math, you find out things like AES are not good for the community. You find out that other things that they're doing, like the Mountain View things, is a big loss for the county. Not only in losing a great nursing home, a great county home, but the net loss of $20 million at this point. The state's only come up with 8, and the total bill was 20, as far as we know at this point. So those kinds of things. Other things I volunteered for, soccer coach and Somerset Historical Society, joined the Lions Club recently, doing their chicken barbecues. I enjoy doing that. It's kind of a fun Chevette style. We've had those at the Barker Lions. They do a really great job. They do it for the churches all around our area as well as a fundraiser, and that's kind of a fun thing to do. So been involved in the community a lot, and really goes back to my time being a student at Barker. I really had a great educational experience there. I was not the big sports guy, but I was involved in all the school activity kind of things, and I just remember it so fondly that I have a lot of respect for the staff there and what they've been able to do, and I don't want to see that destroyed. And part of this whole thing that's going on in the county right now has a tendency, or not a tendency, will hurt the staffing at Barker Central School and the quality of education there. So there's a lot going on. It's not just one issue. It's also the same approach as the county legislature takes it to many other issues that concerns me. And AES is just one glaring example of what's wrong with our county legislature. That's the overview.
Thank you. We just met with Keith McNall, as you saw he was walking out. His comments in relation to the pilot and the IDA and things along those lines is a vote against the pilot would have been a vote against jobs for Niagara County. If you were sitting here right now, how would you have responded to that?
Well, we know for a fact that the pilot, $95 million with inflation, $43 million without inflation, had no jobs attached to it and no construction attached to it, which is the norm and certainly the intent of the IDA law to do. None. So it has nothing to do with jobs, in my opinion. If you wanted to have a second plant, then a pilot goes on the second plant. That makes sense. And the town of Somerset, and most of the residents of Somerset, supported a second plant, supported those jobs. But you do the tax break in the right way. This was absolutely the wrong way. And if Keith McDowell or Rick up the road or anybody else wants to pull in the $25 million pier, That's another example of them not doing the rest of the math or doing any research at all. There's two totally tax-exempt parcels on that land. One, it deals with the rail yard, which is an extension where this pier is going to be involved.
Right.
The other is the landfill. Both spots have been showed in some drawings as where this pier is going to go. Totally tax-exempt. Let alone the fact that the taxable area for the county and the town is the edge of the water. If $25 million is being built out in the lake, where is that going to bring any revenue to the county? And the 100 jobs that might create, if it ever gets passed, that kind of talent is going to come from Louisiana, Mississippi, offshore drilling rigs people. There will not be that many union jobs locally. So it's a red herring that is really not going to provide the jobs that, you know, Keith is saying or anybody else is saying. It's just they have to do a little bit more thought and a little bit more research.
If you win this election, you get your seat, what's job number one? And are you going to let the AES issue sit as it is, or is there something you can do retroactively with the seat and, you know, starting out in January? Is there anything you can do by getting the seat now, or is there anything spoken for?
The appeal may take up to a year, and the longer the Judge Clark waits to do his final written order,
right,
it delays when we can get on the appeal calendar.
Right.
And we're trying to squeeze it in so that the county, I should say the town and the school can get in by May. Right. If he delays any longer, we may be even longer than that. But as a legislature, whether I win or whoever wins across the whole county, you can still go to the IDA, replace them, and rescind this pilot.
So I guess that would be my question. Would you vote right off the bat, you know, when your first resolution is to replace the IDA or replace members of the IDA or do away with the IDA? And what would be your...
I would replace the IDA at this point. There are good aspects of what an IDA can do. You don't have to give away the store to bring economic development to Niagara County.
Okay.
You don't go to any store for anything and think, every time I go, I've got to get a 90% discount. That's the only way I buy things. That's the only way I'm going to have this in my house.
Right.
You don't have to give 90% discounts to every big business in Niagara County. A 20% discount, maybe a 30% discount to more businesses, small businesses that are here, medium-sized businesses that are also already here. You can give help to everybody that way by not giving the store away to a few of the politically connected.
Beyond AES, what issues would you like to tackle with the legislature?
Some of the other taxing kinds of issues, we call it the Niagara County motorist tax. It's the extra $10 we charge out here in Niagara County for Niagara County residents. That's one that can be tackled and is not an addition that needs to be done. Another one that needs to be looked at is just, even though we will change the IDA, is still to put in place an IDA oversight committee so that this does not repeat itself or happen again. And we need a legislature and an oversight committee that's willing to act and fire people when they act inappropriately. The other things I'd like to see is we have a chance for, I guess open meetings law is the question that I have. It's either an ethics committee issue or an ethics law that talks about when the caucuses are meeting or when a particular party is meeting, and you've got the majority of the legislature in that meeting, you may have a sunshine law violation. So we need to tighten that up at a county level and be more conscious of the fact. I know when I was on the school board, we watched out to make sure there wasn't 4 board members that even showed up at a local restaurant because somebody thought that might be a violation. I don't see that happening here when there's a regular Saturday morning meeting with Republicans. And easily, since they currently have a supermajority, a majority showed up to that meeting. And when you go to the county legislative meeting, it seems like it was already decided on Saturday because there's no discussion at the Tuesday meeting. So ethics and open meetings law are other issues that are a concern for me. And the key thing, I think, bottom line is we do need economic growth, but as I like to put it, small business is where we need it. We need to sell the features and benefits. It's an old salesman technique, but it's true. Niagara County has some great features and benefits for business.